Good morning. A question that maybe some of you have asked yourself already. And if you haven't yet asked yourself this question, then I know for sure that you will before too long. That question is, what is your purpose for living? And why do you do anything at all in life? It's a really important question, and lots of grown-ups have grappled with it all their lives. And a lot of people end their lives without ever having a good answer for the question of why am I here? The wise man, our friend, gives us some clues as to why we're here. And I want to share his answers with you because they're brilliant, they're simple, they're very helpful. They're the kind of answers that will help bring us closer to God and to understanding why we do and pretty much everything that we do in life. So let me take you to Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and read some of the wise man's words to you. He says, "What gain has the worker from all his toil? I have seen the business that God has given to the children of men to be busy with." And so he starts off by asking the question, what are you getting from all the work that you do? Have you ever asked yourself that question? What are you getting for all the tests that you're taking, from all the assignments that you're doing from your teachers, from all the books that you're reading? What do you gain from any of that? Well, the wise man has seen the busyness that God has given to us, the children of men, to be busy with. And here was his assessment of that busyness. God has made everything beautiful in its time. So, starting off right there, whatever we're doing has a time and a place for it from God. And it might not be appropriate for you to be doing that thing 10 years from now. It might be that the thing that you're doing right now has no place in your life forever. But right now, it's there for a purpose designed by God, and it is beautiful. And so, the number one challenge for all of us is to try and find the beauty in whatever we're doing right now, because God has given it to us to do, and he's made it beautiful for us. So find out what that beauty is in those assignments that you're doing, in the books that you're reading, in the tests that you're taking, in your sports activities, in your relationships. If they seem challenging or hard to get your mind around, or if you're wondering what the purpose of them is, look for the beauty that God has put in them. And then consider this as he goes on. Remember that God has put eternity into man's heart, yet so that you cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end. You know, when I think of that idea of God having put eternity into your heart, here's what I think. I think that God has put a longing into man's heart to finish, to get things done. But this passage tells me that you're never going to finish, that the skill you're trying to perfect in sports, you're never going to get there to perfect it. Or that musical skill that you're developing, you're never going to be perfect at music. All the books you're trying to read, you're never going to understand science fully. You're never going to understand biology the way you should. You'll never truly understand all that you need to know about poetry or the English language or robotics or programming or computers or whatever else it is that you're pursuing. And that is by the design of God. Only God knows the end. And he has put a longing for you to know what that end is into your heart, but you're never going to know it. So I kind of like that, because what it teaches me is that I can never reach the conclusion. I can always continue to work, to continue to perfect, to continue to get better. And that shouldn't depress me. Instead, it should let me know that that is how God designed it. Then remember this third and powerful point. The wise man tells me, I perceived that there is nothing better for the children of men to do than to be joyful and to do good as long as you live, and that every one of us should eat and drink and take pleasure in all the work that God has given you. This is God's gift to you. So isn't this powerful? There used to be the notion among religious people that if your life wasn't hard and miserable, and if the road wasn't long and the backpack heavy, then you're not really living a spiritual life. It was almost a puritanical view on living. But that's not the view of the wise man. In fact, our friend the wise man tells us that there is nothing better for you by God's design than to be joyful and to do good as long as you live. And then instead of depriving yourselves of the pleasure of food and the pleasure of drink and the pleasure that you can find in your work, that you are to eat and drink and enjoy what you do because that is God's gift for you. Yes, God's given us lots of spiritual gifts. We talk about his son all the time. But have you ever thought that what's in your lunchbox is God's gift for you? That the work that you're doing today is God's gift for you, intended to bring you beauty and joy and fulfillment. That the work that you're going to do when you become an adult is God's gift for you, designed especially for you with your skills in mind, for you to find purpose and happiness and joy in life. And God doesn't want you to do that with a sad face. He doesn't want you to do your work today with a frowny face or without joy. He wants you to truly find pleasure and joy and fulfillment in it. So I'm really glad that my buddy, the wise guy, gave me these reminders today. I know that the life that I'm living might not be glamorous. It might not be beautiful to everyone, but it's beautiful to God. And God's created it for this purpose. And he's given me that purpose so that today I can find joy in the life that he has given me. I can find pleasure in it, and I can give thanks to him for it at the end of this day. Great being with you again this morning. Looking forward to being with you tomorrow. And I hope now that your teachers will pick someone new from your class to lead you in prayer. Have an excellent day.